always having an ongoing RFP. There's no shame in like going out and just continuing to look for pricing. It's a good thing to have. We recommend always like look at new sourcing options, diversify what you have. Find people in different areas. India has honestly, we haven't talked about them. They've really come out on top on this. I mean, the things you can source there, the amount you can source there, the raw materials that are there, like this is really going to strengthen their manufacturing sectors. And like for whatever reason, they're just not in the crosshairs. And so like finding for a lot of people that are in China and the difficulties you have of sourcing something of the same product outside of China, like absolutely look at India. Absolutely look at Vietnam. Like there's a lot of other areas of the world that aren't in the list of things we've talked about with Canada, Mexico, and China that can possibly do what you're doing. And then you might find challenges with MOQs and things like that. But I do think this is going to force you to kind of straighten up your supply chain in a manner where now you're going to be competing with a lot of other people in capacity in other countries. And so looking at how you approach them and how good you look as a customer, like now you need to be a good customer for this factory. It's not necessarily everyone's just waiting for people to show up. You need to have a very airtight forecast, yearly projections. You need to have a cadence of how often you communicate with your supplier. Like the expectation from these factories now that they have their pick of the litter is they are going to choose the best fit client for them. And so like established brands are going to have the upper hand here compared to, pre-revenue, but like keep in mind that like you need to look very polished when you go into these conversations with these other individuals. And that's a lot of things that like we help coach our brands on, or we kind of overlook this RFP that's going out and we say, hey, no, like you need to add this detail, talk about the company, talk about the founders, talk about like they love the story too. And so they love to know that like how this brand is going to grow. And so like take a different approach, if you haven't already, on like formalizing how you look when you go into looking for pricing, not just here's my SKUs, here's my step file, here's my MOQ. There's so much more to that. And this is like such a relationship business. Like the historical suppliers, like as a baseline, like just never totally cut off. I mean, everyone here has had the problem where, people fish for price, they talk to you, they get engaged, you give them pricing and you hear nothing. So like keep up with these other people. If there's an issue and we had multiple bids fall through early AM yesterday, and then all of a sudden they came back in Mexico whenever like the rules like swung back and forth. So like keep in communication with your suppliers. Say like, hey, I still have the option of being in Mexico in the lead times, but the things that have happened have put us in a pinch. We kind of need to see what pans out before we jump into tooling or jump into another PO.